right. Scar wasn't always called Scar. In a series of books called The Lion King, 6 New Adventures, published back in the 90s, we learned that his birth name was Taka. In Swahili, Taka has a couple of meanings, and neither of them is very flattering. It can mean dirt or trash, and also want. Right from the start, his name sets him up as someone who is either seen as worthless or who is defined by a constant, gnawing desire for something more. It's a stark contrast to his older brother Mufasa, whose name means king. One is destined for greatness, the other ... for the dirt. Imagine growing up with a name like that, while your brother's name literally means king. Talk about setting the stage for some serious sibling rivalry. This book series dives deep into the early days of the Pride Lands. Long before Simba was even a thought, we meet a younger Mufasa and Taka, and their father, King Ahadi. From the very beginning, Ahadi shows a clear preference for Mufasa. Mufasa is strong, responsible, and embodies all the qualities of a future king. Taka, on the other hand, is portrayed as weaker, more cunning, and resentful. He's constantly living in Mufasa's shadow, desperate for his father's approval, but never quite getting it. One of the key stories is a tale of two brothers. In this book, King Ahadi promises to take both his sons on a patrol of the Pride Lands, a special father-son bonding experience. Taka is ecstatic. This is his chance to finally prove his worth to his father. But then, things go wrong. A crisis arises with a grumpy and Ahadi breaks his promise to Taka, taking only Mufasa with him to deal with the problem. He tells Taka he has to stay behind. Taka is absolutely crushed. It's another painful reminder that in his father's eyes, Mufasa is the important one, the heir, while Taka is just ... an afterthought, filled with bitterness and jealousy. Taka decides he needs to humiliate Mufasa. He wants to make his perfect brother look weak and foolish in front of their father. So, he comes up with a devious plan. He goes to the infamous trio of hyenas, Shenzi Banzai, and Evan Buckton, were troublemakers on the edge of the Pride Lands. Taka tells them to stir up trouble with a herd of Cape buffalo. His idea is that if the buffalo attack Mufasa, Mufasa will be too scared to fight back, and he'll look like a coward. Taka can then swoop in, save the day, and finally earn the respect he craves. He manipulates the situation perfectly. He tells Mufasa that the buffalo are unfairly hogging a waterhole, and that as the future king, he should go and reason with them. It's a classic setup. Mufasa, ever the noble one, agrees to go and talk to the buffalo leader, Boma. But Taka has already poisoned the well, figuratively speaking. He had told Boma that Mufasa was coming to challenge him for the waterhole. So when Mufasa arrives, the buffalo are already angry and ready for a fight. The plan spirals out of control almost immediately. The buffalo don't just scare Mufasa. They launch a full-blown stampede, aiming to trample him. Taka, watching from the sidelines, is horrified. He wanted to embarrass his brother, not get him killed. He never intended for things to go this far. In a panic, he leaps into the fray to try and save Mufasa from the charging herd. It's a moment that shows us that deep down, Taka isn't pure evil. There's still a part of him that cares for his brother. But his moment of bravery comes at a terrible cost. In the chaos of the stampede, one of the buffalo's horns slashes Taka across his left eye, leaving a deep, bleeding gash. The pain is immense, and the injury is permanent. This is the moment Taka becomes Scar. The physical wound becomes a symbol of his emotional wounds. The jealousy, the resentment, the feeling of being sick. After the stampede is stopped, Mufasa is safe, but Taka is scarred for life. When their father, King Ahadi, finds out what happened, he's furious, not just at the buffalo, but at Taka for his reckless and malicious plan. There's no praise for his attempt to save Mufasa, only disappointment for causing the problem in the first place. And then comes the final, soul-crushing moment. Taka, now with the permanent mark of his failure over his eye, declares that he wants to be called Scar from now on. He tells his father it'll be a reminder of his foolish mistake. Think about that for a second. He chooses to wear his shame, his trauma, as his identity. He completely sheds the name Taka, the name that meant trash, and adopts a new name that literally means a mark left by a wound. He is branding himself with his pain. This story completely reframes Scar's character. He's not just a power-hungry monster who wants the throne for no reason. He's a tragic figure, a product of a dysfunctional family, and a lifetime of being told he's not good enough. His father's neglect and favoritism planted the seeds of resentment. Mufasa, although not intentionally cruel, was a constant, shining reminder of everything Taka wasn't. The scar on his face becomes an outward manifestation of the scar on his soul. Every time he looks in the water's reflection, he sees that mark. It's a constant reminder of his greatest failure. The day his jealousy almost got his brother killed and left him permanently disfigured. It cements his hatred not just for Mufasa, but for the entire system of monarchy that placed Mufasa above him from birth. His desire for the throne isn't just about power. It's about revenge. It's about proving to his dead father, to his brother, and to himself that the lion named Trush could become king. This backstory also adds a dark, ironic layer to one of the most iconic scenes in the movie. When Scar orchestrates the wildebeest stampede that kills Mufasa, he's essentially recreating a more twisted, more successful version of his childhood failure. This time, he doesn't intervene. He lets the stampede run its course, ensuring his brother's death and clearing his own path to the throne. It's a chilling, full-circle moment. The event that gave him his scar is echoed in the event that gives him the crown. It makes you wonder, if Ahadi had shown his sons equal love, if he hadn't broken that promise, would Taka have ever become Scar? If he had felt valued and seen, would the jealousy have festered into such deadly ambition? It's a classic nature versus nurture debate. Was he born bad, or was he made bad by his circumstances? The story of Taka suggests it was the latter. Disney has never officially adapted this story into an animated feature, leaving it in the realm of supplementary book lore. But for the fans who know it, it adds an incredible layer of depth and tragedy to The Lion King. Scar becomes less of a one-dimensional baddie and more of a Shakespearean tragic villain, driven by pain and a desperate, lifelong want for the love and respect he was always denied. So, next time you watch The Lion King, and you see that sinister lion with the scar over his eye, remember Taka. Remember the little cub who just wanted to go on patrol with his dad, and whose jealousy led him down a path of darkness from which he would never return. It's a dark, forgotten chapter in the story of the Pride Lands, but it's the key to understanding one of Disney's greatest. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the Pride Lands to uncover a story you might have missed, a dark truth hidden within the lore of the Lion King. We all know the cunning and villainous Scar, but did you know he wasn't always called Scar? His birth name was Taka, and the story of how he got his infamous scar and his new name is far more tragic and revealing than you might think. This isn't a story you'll find in the original 1994 animated The physical classic. Wound on Taka's face was a permanent, visible reminder of his dark intentions and his failure. Specifically a book series called The Lion King, 6 New Adventures, which was released shortly after the first movie. The book that holds the key is titled A Tale of Two Brothers. This story acts as a prequel, giving us a rare glimpse into the younger days of Mufasa and his brother Taka, and it completely redefines their relationship. From the very beginning, the seeds of jealousy were sown. Mufasa was the firstborn, destined to be king. He was strong, charismatic, and everyone loved him. Taka, on the other hand, was the younger, weaker brother, constantly living in Mufasa's shadow. He craved the attention and respect that came so easily to Mufasa, but he always felt sad. This constant feeling of being overlooked fostered a deep-seated resentment that would eventually consume him. The name Taka itself is a clue to his tragic fate. In Swahili, Taka has a couple of meanings. One is to want, or to desire, which perfectly captures his burning ambition to be king. But another, more common meaning is dirt, trash, or waste. Imagine growing up with a name that essentially means you're worthless. It is a heavy burden for a young cub to carry, and it likely contributed to his growing bitterness and low self. It's as if he was labeled as insignificant from the very start. So, how did Taka become Scar? The story goes that Taka, desperate to prove his worth and humiliate Mufasa, devised a treacherous plan. He knew their father, King Ahadi, was worried about a grumpy, aggressive Cape buffalo named Boma who was hogging a waterhole during a drought. Taka saw his chance. He went to Mufasa and suggested that if Mufasa could reason with Boma and make him share the water, their father would be incredibly impressed. Mufasa, being the noble and responsible heir, agreed. But this was all a trick. Taka had already gone to Boma and told him that Mufasa was planning to challenge him for control of the waterhole. Taka's real plan was for Mufasa to be attacked and embarrassed by the much larger and stronger buffalo. He hoped this failure would make their father see Mufasa as weak and unworthy of the throne. The plan, however, backfired spectacularly. When Mufasa approached Boma to talk, the enraged buffalo, spurred on by Taka's lies, immediately charged. A massive stampede of the buffalo herd followed. Mufasa was in grave danger. Taka, watching from a distance, was initially pleased, but his plan quickly spun out of his control. The sheer ferocity of the stampede was more than he had bargained for. In the chaos of the stampede, Taka himself was attacked. One of the buffalo's sharp horns raked across his face, gashing him over his left eye. He was left wounded and bleeding, his own devious plot turning against him in a painful, permanent way. Mufasa, despite his brother's betrayal, managed to escape the stampede, and the Pride Lands were saved from the immediate crisis. But the damage was done. When Taka returned home, his father, King Ahadi, was furious. It's a heavy burden for a young cub to carry, and it likely contributed to his growing bitterness. The physical wound on Taka's face was a permanent, visible reminder of his dark intentions and his failure. A heavy burden for a young cub to carry, and it likely contributed to his growing bitterness and low self. From that day forward, he wanted to be known only as Scar, a name that would forever mark him by his greatest failure and the treachery in his heart. This changes everything, doesn't it? Scar isn't just some power-hungry villain who appeared out of nowhere. He is a product of lifelong jealousy, feelings of inadequacy, and a single, fateful decision that literally scarred him for life. His name isn't just a cool villain name, it's a self-inflicted punishment. A constant reminder of the day his jealousy physically and emotionally branded him. He chose to wear his shame on the outside, turning a symbol of his failure into his identity. This backstory makes his actions in The Lion King so much more profound. When he orchestrates Mufasa's death in the wildebeest stampede, it's a chilling echo of his first failed attempt with the Cape Buffalo. He is essentially restaging his childhood failure, but this time, he's making sure it succeeds. He's been nursing this grudge, this scar, for his entire life. The jealousy that started as a small seed in his youth blossomed into a murderous obsession. Think about the line, "I'm surrounded by idiots." It's not just arrogance. It comes from a place of deep-seated insecurity, a need to believe he is smarter than everyone else, because he's always felt weaker. His whole life has been a competition with a brother he could never beat fairly. This story adds such a tragic layer to The Lion King. It transforms Scar from a one-dimensional villain into a complex, tragic figure, almost Shakespearean in nature. He is a character defined by his wound, both physical and emotional. He is the trash, the waste, who tried to claw his way to the top and was permanently marked by his ambition. And in the end, that same ambition, that same scar on his soul, led to his ultimate downfall. It's a powerful lesson on how jealousy and resentment, if left to fester, can consume a person entirely. So, the next time you watch The Lion King, remember the story of Taka? Remember the insecure young cub who just wanted his father's approval and was so consumed by jealousy that he orchestrated a plan that scarred him for life.